Okay, we're going to spend a few minutes looking now at the essence of creating a course, which basically is to populate each one of these weekly blocks with information. We're going to create resources and activities. Now to do that, you're going to want to click Turn Editing On. And then you got each one of those icons. Now basically the good thing about these icons, there's a whole lot of them, but they're consistently used in all the different blocks. So once you learn what they do, you know it wherever you are in Moodle. The little hand here, it always means to edit, and we're going to edit the summary. We'll show you that. It's going to let you embed video lectures and such. So anytime you see this little hand with the pencil in it, that's an edit block. Let you change the content. If an arrow points to the right, anytime you see an arrow pointing in a direction, like this one points to the right, it means move this whole thing to the right. You see, like in this case, it points down. This is going to move the block down. Here, left, move left, you can move the whole block left, and move up, you can move the block up. Again, it's just important to remember that these things typically move these blocks around. So if you wanted the upcoming events to be up higher, you could click the up arrow. If you wanted the participants to be on the right, you could click the right arrow to move it to the right, and notice it will turn your participants will be moved. In this case, it's all the way down here. If you want to put it up to the top, you can just click up a few times. And you can see that would work all the way to the top. So there's your down arrow. This is your, again, move arrow. You can click it and move more specific things. Now you can move them in further distances. If you ever want to do that, this is specifically useful if you want to move entire weeks back and forth. And rather than having to click one thing several times over and over again, it's also useful for like indenting if you want to move something more to the right, more to the left. Again, we see our edit box again. The X is to delete something. If you want it, you can make it go away just by deleting it. The eyeball, if it's open, that it means it's visible. If it's closed, then it's hidden. So the students, if it's closed, the students won't be able to see this. If it's open, students will be able to see it. So for example, if you want to hide, students are in this first week, we want to hide next week, we will just click the hide arrow, hide this week from students. And now they won't be able to see it. Likewise, you could do the whole thing, show only week 1. Let's open the eye back up. We can show only week 1 by clicking this, and that's the only thing students will be able to see. That's all that we're actually going to end up editing, rather. So the good news is, again, each one of the cases, that's pretty much what these icons always do. This another icon is this face-to-face assign roles. Not quite as important for you, but just so be aware, if, this is how you would move students in and out. Ultimately, if you want to give a student moderator privileges, that's what you're going to use. You're going to assign individual students individual roles. Normally, you won't be using that a whole lot, but just, again, for your information. And again, if, like, for example, if you wanted to hide the activities, so you don't want students to see that for some reason, you could just click the hide button. That would go away. Now, as it comes to specifics here, if you want to add, there's a difference in a resource and an activity. I want you to think of resources in broad terms of passive things. And we'll come back later and talk more details. But if you want to add a web page for them to read, you want to add a book for them to read, you want them to download a file, these are things for them to read or interact with that you're giving them to teach them. Another thing you can do is the activities, and this is really the essence. These are your assignments. So a resource is something they read, something they interact with, whereas an activity is an assignment. So if you wanted, for example, to have them do a forum, their assignment this week is to do a forum, you could click Forum here, and that's going to let you define a forum. So forum name, we'll call this DQ1. This is a discussion week for 1. Forum type, this is just a general forum for general student use. And then I could type, I can either put the question in here, or I can make my own thread. With the question this first week, DQ1, is going to be, how do you like your course? That's a great question. Easy A, right? And you can go ahead and save that and return to course. We'll look at some of the details of these in a few minutes. And then what you'll see is the student has an assignment. So if we do a switch role, let's see what the student would see. And they're going to see here DQ1. And then here's their actual thing. and they're going to proceed to answer the question, and they're going to give their answer just like you've seen it a million times. I also want you to notice the breadcrumb trail across the top. WBTC takes you all the way home. We're in miscellaneous 3000. We're also under forums, and we're under DQ1. So let's just go back to the class level of MISC 3000. We're going to return to our normal role, so we can go back to teaching. Again, turning editing back on. And there's all kind of things you can do. You can add more activities. And again, we'll talk about each one of these in detail in other tutorials. But you can add chats. You can add a choice tab, which is basically a label. If you want to you want the students to collaboratively create a database, you can do that. If you want them to build a glossary, you can have them build detailed lesson plans. One of the most important things is building quizzes. You can have them take surveys. You can have them build a wiki page. You can have them upload a single file. Suppose you want them to write an essay and upload it to you. You can give them offline activities to do. Just these are the things when every single week you want them to do something, you're going to click add an activity. You want to add a resource, click add a resource. And again, we can notice that we can move things around again. So if I want to move this, I can again go back to the move thing just to show you again. I want the DQ question to be at the top, so I can just move to here. There you go. Now the DQ question is at the top. All right, so what we're going to do now is that's just the general idea. If you want to edit things, add resources, add activities, we're going to spend future tutorials talking about each of these individually, so you can see more detail exactly what's going on and how to use each one of them.